Hey guys, welcome to our vlog. Do your peace sign. Look,
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's what we do.
Whaley and Birch, Birch and Whaley.
Teachers of the Year 2020.
Dynamic duo.
Dynamic duo, not Teachers of the Year. Anyways, today we want to go ahead and give a little bit of a breakdown of what happens in Act 2 for you guys. We know y'all have missed reading Julius Caesar with MAPS testing, and so we want to make sure y'all stay on track. So we're going to break it down for y'all so that y'all can catch in at the end of Act 2. So go ahead and set the scene for these guys.
Okay, so Act 2 begins in Brutus's garden on the Ides of March. Now we know what happens on the Ides of March.
The soothsayer, according to him, Caesar's dying.
Absolutely.
Last day, last breath.
Absolutely. But I want us to keep in mind that there's 5 acts in this play, and we're only in Act 2. So even though it's the Ides of March, let's think about it. If Shakespeare kills his main character in Act 2, what about
over.
the other 3?
Exactly, it'd be boring.
Yeah.
So we're not going to kill Caesar off today, no matter how excited y'all are, but we are going to find out the plan. Okay?
Absolutely.
So we're in Brutus's garden, and Brutus is debating whether he's going to join this murderous plan, because last we checked, Brutus is a friend of Caesar. Not just a friend, he loves him. But we know how good Cassius is, and we know what's going to happen, so go ahead and tell him.
So Brutus is debating back and forth if he thinks they should kill Caesar or not. And he specifically talks about how Caesar is like a serpent's egg. So inside the egg, the serpent can't hurt you,
Yeah,
can't bite you.
it's not out.
But once the serpent is born and the snake comes out of the egg, what can happen?
Venomous.
Venomous.
And it's the idea that as long as he's not powerful or not king, then he's in the egg.
Caesar,
right?
yeah.
Caesar is. But once they give him all power, he'll become dangerous, and that's not what they want to happen. And so Brutus kind of hypes himself up to say, yeah, if he gets to be king, he's dangerous. We don't want that to happen, okay?
So this is when he decides.
That he's going to kill him. He's going to
Absolutely.
participate. He's going to join the conspirators, which is kind of a big turning point, guys, because Brutus was considered one of the most noble men in the land. And it's important you understand that. Everyone knew he was a good guy. So the fact that now he's kind of turning, he thinks he's doing what's right for the country. This is not about, I just want to kill him because of the power. He thinks it's what the country needs.
So as he's coming to this decision, his servant, Lucius, comes in with a letter he found in Brutus's window. And we know that letter came from where?
Cassius.
Absolutely. Cassius had Cinna deliver it.
And Cassius, yeah. And just to give you a refresher, Cassius had the idea that he would send an anonymous letter as if the people of Rome wanted Brutus to be king. They didn't want Caesar. So keep in mind this whole time, Brutus is doing whatever is best for Rome. So if he gets a letter from the people saying, we don't want Caesar as king, he's going to do whatever it takes to prevent that.
Absolutely. And then what did you like about this letter, Miss Whaley?
Where they tell him, the word Shakespeare uses, he says, you're asleep, wake up, see what we want. And that's really a call to action, which is important in convincing people to do something, because if you don't call them to do it, they're not going to do it. In this moment, the people are telling them, here's what we want, and you've been ignoring it. You've been asleep for it. Don't miss it just because you're friends with him.
And then after Brutus reads the letter, the next thing that happens is a knock at the door.
Love that effect.
I
still
know.
do. So
And
good.
enters all the conspirators. So all those people that are a part of Cassius's plan to kill Caesar come into Brutus's home.
Yeah, so, they had to get together. Anytime you're going to conspire against someone, you got to have a plan.
Right.
But also, during this time period, you can't just have a plan. You got to all what? Make a what?
An oath.
Right. And we talked about early on that their oaths mattered. This isn't like today when you're like, yeah, we'll all show up for the party and you don't do it. This is, during this time period, if you broke your oath, people died from it. So these conspirators are all making an oath with Brutus saying, we're going to follow this through and we will all kill Caesar. No one's going to back down. And so it's a big part of the story to let you know that they trusted each other enough to carry out the murder.
Hands in.
And I think Birch says that they said, kill Caesar. But I say that they said,
Teamwork makes the
dream
dream
work.
work.
So you can decide what they said.
Okay, so then they have their long conversations drawn out to where they're saying, we're going to kill him. We're going to do it at the Senate. They talk about how they don't think he's going to show up at the Senate because there's like rumors going around town he might not be there tomorrow. And then Decius pipes in and he says,
I can get him there.
absolutely.
I'm really slick with words, and I'll just convince him to come. He loves me, right? So Decius is kind of like he's like the chauffeur. It's his job to get the guy for the murder.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's his job to get Caesar at the Senate.
So then Portia, who is Brutus's wife, comes in, and it's kind of like a little break in all the drama that is the murder. And Portia's kind of like, hey, bro, not bro, because it's her husband, but hey, dude, who's out there? It's 3 a.m.
Absolutely.
You're not in bed with me. What are you doing? Are you cheating on me? She makes these instantly. She doesn't even think like, hey, my husband might commit murder. Her focus is he cheating on me? And what is the term she uses?
She says, am I a harlot or am I your wife?
So basically, if you don't know what a harlot is, it's a prostitute. So she's mad enough at him that she's like, you're treating me like a prostitute instead of treating me with the respect I deserve. And he just kind of does what to her?
Brushes her off.
Yeah, go to bed. I'm over here committing crimes. Just do your own thing. So towards the end of this act, we're dealing with the discussion of Caius and Brutus, and they're just kind of making sure everything is laid out and the plans are ready. And now we take it over into scene 2, and it's a few hours later. What time would you say that is?
Well, if Portia is getting on to her husband at 3 a.m., and it's a few hours later, it must be about 6.
Yeah, I'm going to guess 6. And
we're over at Caesar's house.
Yeah, we've now moved scenes. We're now at Caesar's house, and they're waking up, and his wife wakes him up, and she's had this horrible nightmare. And in the nightmare, which she dreams, which is kind of crazy, but she dreams of all of these senators bathing in his blood.
Yeah,
they're
their hands.
covered in his blood. And so their hands have his blood on them, which we all know is very foreshadowing.
Yes.
It's letting us know what's going to happen. We know how this works. But what does Caesar say to his wife?
He doesn't believe in dreams and omens, and he's still going to the Senate.
Of course he is, because he's a man and his wife's just dumb, right?
Right.
You know? Well, she does what we all do well, and she starts really kind of
Nagging him,
throwing a temper tantrum. You can't go, but she's really trying to save him. She's worried for him. So eventually he says, okay, fine. I'm not going to go. I'll stay home with you.
But then guess what happens? And Decius shows up. Enter Decius.
And Decius's job is to
get him to the murder spot.
Yes, and he's such a clever guy because Caesar tells him, my wife had this really bad dream. And in the dream, the senators are bathing their hands in my blood. And I'm not going to go. She's freaked out. And what does Decius say?
Decius says, that doesn't mean you're going to die, Caesar. That means that you're going to revive Rome with your spirit.
Yes, your blood is what's going to revive us and give us new life. And he also goes as far to say if they were going to give you the crown, and if you don't show up because your wife had a dream, they might not want you to have it if that's the kind of life you're living. So what does Caesar do?
He shows up. He wants that crown. And he tells Calpurnia, see, don't you feel silly now?
Yes, he
told
does.
her that.
I know, and think about it later. He dies, guys, so who's going to be silly then? Idiots. So anything else you want to add to this?
Nope.
That's where we end the scene. We want you to get your books out. It's on page 731 in the yellow books. You're going to read scene 3, which is actually only like 2 paragraphs. We just want you to read it and be ready to discuss what just happened. Okay? Good luck, guys.